Welcome back to another episode of Our Memorable Games. We're here tonight with Glen Norfolk, who's going to go back through three of his most memorable games, some other memories he's got. Glen is currently the sixth highest run scorer in Southend-on-Sea in EMT's history since the merge. So, welcome, Glen.
Yeah, well, cheers, Matt. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Good stuff. Okay, so going back to before the merge, I believe you actually were a bowler rather than a batter. Is that right?
Yeah, I was. I would like to say myself a very good bowler. I don't know what happened, but obviously things changed. But yeah, at that time, before the merger, before we come in, I was a bowler mainly.
Good stuff. And you were telling me that you were entrusted with a last over once, but ended in a strange circumstances. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So it's the last ball. I think it was against Eastwood. Eastwood needed two to win, so I've run up, bowled. Their number 11's completely missed it, and then Ryan Saggers behind the stumps, he's gathered it in. He's run up to stumps, but then just completely forgot to whip the bows off to run the guy out. And we all think, Brian, what are you doing? And the guy's already run through. The game's tied. He just blanked. It was the weirdest end to a game ever. I don't know why he did it. It was just very strange.
And that convinced you that batting was the way forward after that, was it?
Yeah, because all that hard slog, and then you don't really end up with anything, like running in, and then something like that happens. Obviously, puts you off a little bit sometimes.
Fair enough. Okay, so we'll come on to your games. So the first one's in 2010. So the first year of the merge. You were a second team player then, and quite a good side in that time. As quite a few youngsters, yourself, Ryan, Bobby Mills, Joe Simmons, along with a few older heads, like myself, Nigel Green, Ian Heiser. How do you find that year?
Now coming into the new merge, obviously we didn't know what to expect coming from Echo, never been a Shepherd name. Obviously you hear things, but as soon as we come in, it was great from start to finish. We were all welcome in, and as soon as we started, we just hit it off as a team as well, and as a club really. I think that was one of probably the best seasons I can remember for cricket and also the social side, because I think every time we had a game, we were there at the club after. So it was just all of that put together, just I think made it one of the best seasons.
Great stuff. So we'll come on to your first game, which comes towards the end of the season, probably 5 or 6 games out, and that's at home to Belus. So a team challenging at the top, a game we couldn't really afford to lose. What were your thoughts going into that game?
I was nervous. I think I remember rightly, because obviously we worked so hard all season. Got to that point, and we knew we had to win to keep going that season. I remember we were batting. We batted very very well that day, especially the top order. Got the runs very quickly, and then obviously we got to halfway. I think that day.
Just go back to the batting. So reasonable start, and then a big partnership between Chris Mayer and Connor of 125.
Yeah.
They made the difference that day.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think without their contribution we would have got anywhere where we did as well. Chris, I think it was a great 100, I think. And then obviously Connor just backed him up as well. I know we lost a few quick wickets towards the end, but obviously we were chasing the game, getting the quick runs on the board by then.
That's it. I think also in that context, because they were up there with us, we were going to bat to 52 anyway, just to back them out of the game.
Yes, we were, yeah.
We couldn't afford to lose it.
Yeah.
I think we went from 250 for 3 to 268 for 6, which seems a bit of a waste of time, but I think it was just to take a bit of time out of the game and put pressure on them.
Yeah, I think we had that conversation as well. We'd go as long as possible, and if we weren't in a position to even finish at the 50, I think we were going to go on. I think if I remember rightly, we did have that conversation. I think at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you say, 8 points in the bank came off, and they put us in. So they obviously fancied chasing or didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
Would you have fancied us to win at half time or?
Yeah, I was confident, especially the way we were that season. We did win a lot of games, and I was just with the bowling attack we had, I was very confident. But I think, as you're probably about to say, as we went through that innings, it was tough. It wasn't easy
No, it
at all.
wasn't. 3 early wickets and then a long partnership where just nothing happened. Didn't
Yeah.
score.
Yeah, they didn't score. They were just dead batting everything. I think that was the time where you told me go and get your lid on and get underneath. That was before drinks. I think that's what we started doing that, and we started piling people around the bat to try and make something happen.
See, talking about making things happen. Tommy Kenton made 2 things happen in that game. First of all, with a catch on the rebound,
Yes.
and with his bowling, got a wicket with a reverse sweep, which seemed to open a door for us. Did you
Yes.
then think this is the time that we can now go on and win this with that partnership broken?
Yes, I do. We needed something to happen because we did go very flat, if I remember rightly, for a few overs. We didn't think anything was going to happen. And then all of a sudden that wicket, and then the game just completely changed. Just completely changed at that moment as well. And I
That's
think the
it.
wicket started falling very, very quickly.
That's right. Mark Robinson came back from the top end, if I remember rightly, and bowled very quick, very straight. He was a big player for us that year. What do you make of Mark as a cricketer?
I thought Mark was a really good cricketer. His bowling was he was quick. He normally was straight, and if you wanted something to happen, he would normally make it happen. I think the amount of times you threw a ball to him just to make something happen, he did. It happened quite a lot that season, if I remember rightly. He just literally just made things happen, and on that day, he made things happen and
Yeah,
quickly.
did. Took 3 very quick wickets. Tell me about the last wicket.
I was at short leg, so Mark was bowling. I believe it was a bat pad straight up in the air, and I think I lunged across the wicket one-handed to grab it. And then I think my old man was watching, and he said all we could see after that was all of you around me, and then my helmet bobbing up and down on my head in the middle.
It was
And then,
a big win. That was
yeah, it was
really
a big,
made a difference.
big win, and also it was getting tight at one stage as well. And obviously that I think it was relief as well at the end that we actually got the job done.
That's it. Yeah, and then the last 2 games we won fairly comfortably. Finished off the season, get promoted up at Epping, I believe,
Yes, we did. Yeah.
and quite a good night at the
Yeah,
clubhouse
it was.
afterwards.
Yeah, it was good night. I won't mention anything, Matt, but it was a very good night.
Anything goes. It's all good. No, it's a great season. That was 2010.
Yeah,
It was
it was really
real
good.
good. So going on from 2010, so get promoted to Division 2 next year. You make your first League 100.
Yes, Benfleet. I think it was something that I had wanted to happen for a while. Maybe that first season I was probably forcing it a bit too much because obviously I think I was probably one of the last. Probably I think Sean got 100 the year before, and I was probably one of the last ones to get 100 as well. So it was quite a big moment for me going forward, I think.
From that point, you then felt, I can do this. I belong at this level.
Yeah. I think I got first season, got a few 30s and just got out, and I thought, it's never going to come. And then all of a sudden, I think that day just clicked. It really just clicked, and I think a big partnership with Connor at the start as well.
Yeah.
That day, so we put on a lot of runs, and then Chris Mayer again come in, and obviously helped me probably get to 100. And then obviously we declared, and then we tried to win the game again. But yeah, it was a really fond memory that day. Just your first 100, just to get it done, get it out of the way, and then try and concentrate on scoring more runs, basically.
You seem to have scored a lot of runs batting with Chris Mayer. Is that someone you looked up to when you were coming through as a youngster at Echo?
Yeah, it was. Chris was a big part of how Echo, and probably as part of the person I've become today as well, if I'm being honest, looking back, because I think it's the first year I started playing twos with Echo. First game I actually played twos, Chris took me up to High Easter. And I always remember that trip. I think it was me. I think it might have been Ryan Saggers. It was one of the youngsters in the back of the car. I just had a really good day from start to finish. Made us welcome, and obviously encouraged us all the time as well. It was really he was a big part of it. Big part of Echo, and obviously he was a captain as well when we were all in the first team. Me, Bobby, and Zach, and obviously big part of just bringing us through. after what obviously Kev had done with us when we were youngsters as well at Echo.
Yeah,
So
super player, Chris.
two big names probably within the club bringing us through.
Great
So they
stuff.
had
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to your second game, which is in 2014. You're still in the second team, but
Yeah.
it's a much stronger second team now. It's into League One, captained by Tommy. Tell us about some of the players who are in that team now.
Yeah, so I think I remember that day we had Kev. Obviously, scores runs for fun, basically. The amount of runs I've seen Kev score. We had Joe, who was just finding his feet in cricket in the second team. We had Aaron Butcher as well, and that I think Butcher that year was a big part of that second team. He scored a lot of runs, and he was a big part of that day. And then we had some old heads. So we had Waffham was there that day, bowling for us, and obviously in batting, and obviously Tommy. Obviously Tommy was a big part of that side as well.
Okay, so we'll come on to the
Runs,
game. So
wickets.
you're
Yeah.
playing Woodford Wells, who are up the top as well. I believe it's a case of whoever wins goes up. Was that the case?
Yes, it was the case. I think we had to win. There was no doubt that we had to win. So it was a big game. There was pressure on. We were confident at the start of the game. We knew what we had to do. I think that made it probably a little bit easier,
Yeah.
knowing what we had to do to win the game. But saying that, it was still It was a tense
Yeah.
game.
So in the game, you get an early breakthrough, but then a big partnership. So they're up to about 130 for one.
Yeah,
You then thinking something's got to happen here.
yeah. I think something had to happen. It was just starting to drift, and I think it was what we brought Ben back on. And I think it was there. I think it might have been their left-hander, the guy we had trouble getting out in the first game at their place. And I was keeper at the time. He snipped behind me, got him, and then literally from that moment, felt the game change.
Yeah, looking at the scorecard, Robert Leaper, a guy who's got a
Yeah,
lot of runs,
yeah,
left-hander. So it goes from, as you say, something happens. So you turn it to free for 147, which you're now back probably just about favourites, but
yeah.
they end up making 5 for 252. What are your thoughts at tea? Is that too many?
I was personally, I was nervous. I thought we could do it. It was one of them games where you go to tea, you don't eat anything because you know what's at stake. You just couldn't eat anything because you didn't know what to think, and it was just pressure. It was pressure. It was a big pressure, and I think quietly maybe a bit nervous, but Alfred, we're confident. We'll go out there, we'll give it a shot, and we'll see what will happen.
Okay, so you have a great start to the innings. Kevin Sibbo both score 50s, I believe.
Yeah,
You're flying at that point. You think this is on, game on?
yeah, definitely game on. I think game on. I remember I was walking around the boundary at the time with a couple of the others, and I remember Kev got out, and I thought, oh, because every time Kev get out in that reaction, oh, here we go, might have a bit of a sticky patch here. But I think Aaron come in at that point, and within 5-6 balls, he was already. He was just timing the ball so well, and at that point, you thought, well, this could actually be our day. And I think as it wore on, it just became more and more evident it was going to be our day. I think we had a little bit of a wobble towards the end, but in the end, with what Aaron did was really, really good.
Yeah, Aaron
It
got
was a big,
70 on that day. I think he got 77. As you
yeah,
say, he big part, a lot of runs that season. I think the last two games he anchored chases to
yeah,
win both games. But even in that last game, you lose a few wickets at the end. It's gone to the last over, I believe.
yeah. It went to last night, and I can remember it was dark. It was starting to get dark, and I think it was me, padded up, Petch, and Maya, all padded up. And we all decided, oh, who's going to go in next? Who's going to do what? Because none of us really wanted to. Was like, oh, I don't want to be left with this at the end
No.
and get out, and it'll all go horribly wrong.
Was there a plan who was next in, or
I believe it was Petch. I don't know why,
he
but
did
I
hit a
think
long
Petch.
ball?
Yeah, he could hit a long ball and he could just finish it off straight away. But yeah, I think Petch was next in, and it was between me and Chris who got going after. But yeah, it was tense on that boundary at the end. Between three of us, because you just think, I don't want it to be left to me. No, I'm the one who gets out on the last ball when we lose again. Oh, we lose.
Yeah. But
Because
Butch
it
saw you
was that time.
home.
Yeah, Butch saw us home, and then again, it was just a really good evening. I actually think Woodford Wells went up with us,
Did they?
and in the end, yeah, I
Yeah.
think the other team who was there lost quite
Right.
badly, so they actually ended up with the points they picked up batting first, actually going up as well.
Yeah, they'd have got 10 or 11
Yeah,
points from the game.
yeah.
So it was a time going up. Good stuff. So how did you find the Premier when you went up? What was second 11 Premier cricket like?
It was hard. It was
Yeah.
a lot harder than what I've. So I played a few first team games when we were in league. We went to League One to start with, and that was tough, a completely different level. But going from that twos League One to that Premier is a different. It's a step up. It really is a step up. Obviously, I think it took time to find our feet, but that first season we did find our feet, and we did win a couple of really good games that year. And I
I
think we
see.
just stuck at it as a group as well.
So when you talk about the level of a second 11 Premier, talking about teams like Wanstead twos who could play in the first 11 Division Two and more
Yeah,
than.
yeah, obviously you would have players that would come down who had played the first team Prem basically,
Yeah.
and you just think, whoa, this is complete. This is something different. Obviously for us at that stage, from what we've come from Div 3 to all the way to the Prem, you think of them two leagues, that gap is
Is
huge.
huge.
It is
Set.
massive.
And a good atmosphere. Tommy was obviously captain at the time. Good young
Yeah,
side.
yeah, it was a good atmosphere. We were a good side at that time. We were winning games. We knew we wouldn't be the best in that league. We knew exactly what was going to happen, and all that we met our target to stay up, and
Yeah.
we just kept together that whole season, and we did very very well. I think for where we have come from to stay in that league that season.
And the best part about it, I would say, also is it was with people like yourself, Joe Sibbons, Sean Grant, people who had come through our system. Yes, there's people who came in, such as John Petch, but the core 9 or 10 was homegrown players, wasn't it?
Yeah, and had been there from the very very start
Yeah.
basically. Even though there was a bit of chopping and changing due to form and obviously injuries, but it was basically the same people who come all the way through from that very first merger.
No, it was great for the club. And now someone playing first team, and it's a testament to people like Kev to bring you
Yeah,
through the youth system. So that's great. Okay, so we'll move on to game three. We've got some more stuff for after, but so game three is a third team game in 2015 away at Hornchurch.
yeah,
A game on the back of it's the Saturday after the Chester tour.
yes.
So it's been a long week.
It had been a long week. I think you were there longer than I was. I think me and Joe went home on a Wednesday, but it's still even though it's a long
Yeah.
week. Obviously, you travel up on a Sunday after the last Saturday game. Um, I think the first Sunday night, and not a lot of us remember as
No,
well.
not Monday.
And no, not Monday or not Tuesday. I don't think either. But no. So obviously you're doing that. You're playing cricket at the same time. It is quite draining. And yeah, it was a brilliant tour. Oh, I think both tours I've been on have been absolutely brilliant, and that one was no exception. It was
The
really
difference
good
with the
week.
second tour was we played some serious cricket. I think we
Yeah,
won 3 out of the 4 games. We beat the national champions,
yes, we did.
and we had a serious side. And most of us came back from tour, I think, in form with the bat or the
Yeah,
ball. You played.
yeah,
We all played quite well. So
it,
as well as partying hard, we played cricket
yeah.
properly that week.
Yeah, because I think I went into that week and I was seriously out of touch. I hadn't probably scored the runs I wanted to. I think it was probably the Monday, first game back, or first game I played at tour. I got naught where everyone else scored runs. I ended up with something on my head that them pictures hopefully will stay hidden. But
Yeah.
but then we went to Neston, and I didn't score a lot of runs. I struggled, but all of a sudden, just something just clicked. I don't know. It's just the opposition we were playing. We all kind of stepped up that day, and yeah, just something that clicked, and then it just rolled into the Saturday. And it shows how strange cricket can be. One day you can be terribly out of nick, and the next day, yeah, you hit a couple of balls for 4, and then all of a sudden you're back.
back in.
You're
So we
back
go on
in.
for the Saturday. It's a stinking hot day,
Yeah.
and we're stuck in the field on not the most pleasant ground there.
No, it's not. No, it is not the most pleasant ground at all.
And my memory of that was it was it was a disaster as a fielding effort. We dropped catch after catch.
I think every single player, including myself, was keeping dropped to catch that day. Every single person, I think
Yeah.
it was, and there was some absolute stinkers. I think one of the worst drops I've probably ever seen that day, if I remember rightly. I'm not going to mention any names, but it was pretty bad all round.
Was that mine at cover?
It could have been. It could have been. I think there was two. There was two that were pretty bad that day.
I think it's a case of after two you can't move. But yeah, one came down that hill at Hornchurch, and I just didn't line it up right, so it went a yard to the left or right of me,
Yeah.
and it just you had your hands there, and it just went past, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, and it was.
Yeah.
I think at tea, no one was speaking to each other. We'd all fallen out.
Yeah, we all had the with each other. It was
Right.
pretty bad. It was a stinking. And I think Gore was captain at the time. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said to him, mate, I don't really want to open. It's hot. I've been stuck under the lid for 40. God, how many overs it was. I just don't want to go. You're going out there. So he actually chucked me out there. I think in the end. I mean, I'm quite glad he did in the end, but I wouldn't have thought it when I was strolling out there.
No, that's it. So they got 272 for 2, which is a huge score. It's a quick scoring ground, but it's a game. Somehow in that season, we're down the bottom of that table. I'm not sure how we got there.
No.
We were playing awful cricket, and a game, if we'd have lost that, we could very well have gone down, which
we could have
at the start of the season, we were looking to go up.
Yeah.
Not. So you opened, I believe?
Yes, I opened with Tricky, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember the first. It was weird. I always remember the first over, and I don't know why. Guy had played a couple of times over the years since then, but he just come in, and it was just a couple of full tosses outside of off stump. I hit him for 4, and I thought, oh, this could be okay. It's quick. It was a quick scoring day. And you thought, oh, I'm just going to give it a go and just see what happens here.
That's it. So we lose 2 early wickets, Richard Hawkins and Aaron Butchers at 3. Now, Aaron didn't bowl that day. I assume he could only have been playing because he was injured.
I actually think he was playing because I think we were in that much of a pickle in that league. We had to put some names down there to try and get us out of the hole.
Right,
I think that's what it came down to. So especially Aaron, I think Aaron come down to potentially come to help us out.
And got one.
Got one. You think, oh, well, Aaron will get some runs. I don't think it was a great shot, to be honest, if I remember rightly, but he got one, and I'm standing at the other end going, okay, this could be a very tricky afternoon.
So I think that's symptomatic of our season, really, that we've got someone down who's going to score us runs, and he gets one.
Yeah.
And then, so Sean comes in, gets 24, I think. But with 20 overs left, we are 130 for 3, chasing 273, which 7 over, tough. Fancy our chances?
I think at that point I did, because I think on one side of that ground it's very, very short.
Yeah.
And you could literally mistime it for 6. It is that short. It wouldn't have to be a big hit. So I was still confident. But I think the other day they had that leg spinner. He come on and he was so tight the whole game. And I think either I said to you or Sean, we've got to see him off, otherwise we will not win this game. Because he was that good and he was controlling it. But he controlled it for about, I think, 10 overs, literally at one point, I think it was. I think it was really hard to get away.
Well, you batted really well. You scored runs. You get 70 or 80. I remember batting with you, and I got a couple times I'm knackered. And I think because it's part of the day also, it was a case of having to say to you, just bat, go away and bat. And you were hitting it well that day. You were hitting it really well. Every ball seemed to go for 4.
Yeah, I think at one point I remember the drop. I think I got dropped at long on, and I think at that moment, I think I settled myself back down again. I went, hang on, I've got to win this game now.
Yeah.
I was on about 89 at the time, and I thought, I can't do that
Can't do
again.
it. No, I said because
So
you and I put on 130, 100, maybe 100, 140, but I wasn't batting as well as you. But what I could do was get one and get you back on strike.
yeah,
It was you were scoring the bulk of the runs, but we were working well as a partnership.
yeah, we were. That we were. I think we were that day, and you were literally in my ear, just telling me to get on with it. And I think I just knuckled down and just did it.
So you
And
get 137 that day.
yeah,
That's your highest score,
yeah,
but you're out with about 30 to win. At that point, do you
yeah.
think I couldn't have done any more, or do you think I've blown it a bit here?
I think I remember getting out, and I think I was unlucky because I overbalanced. It was down the leg side. I think it was off their left arm spinner,
Okay.
and I think it wasn't a proper keeper. The guy was just roped in, and it hit his pads and hit the stumps.
Okay.
Yeah, so otherwise, I would probably been alright. But at that point, I was so gutted with myself because I wanted to see it through because I could see the finish line. And I just wanted to get it. And obviously, I knew I was close to 150 as well, which would have been a real good achievement as well
Yeah.
for me. Obviously, looking back at it, obviously you're still happy with it, but in hindsight, I would like to finish the game off and got
So,
150.
so Chris Gore comes in to replace you. I believe he's dropped straight away.
Yes,
Rinks, he was
yeah.
dropped square leg or something like that straight away.
No, I think he was dropped. He was dropped on the boundary at fine leg. That was where that really small boundary was.
Yeah.
And then the next two balls sailed into the bushes,
Yeah. Yeah.
which made it a lot more easy. I think he about 3 6s in the end in
He
that
did.
yard
Yeah.
for
That
him.
was my recollection. He really, because I say, I was struggling at the time that day, and he came in, got a quick 20 out of probably the last 25,
Yeah,
and we got over the line because there wasn't a lot more to come. Matt
no,
Moen was about 13 at the time,
yeah,
and it was a real struggle.
yeah,
But it was one of those games that if we'd have lost that, we could well have been back down, which
yeah,
with that side would have been a disaster.
yeah. It would have been a disaster. It would have been a big disaster, and for the club as well.
It was. So coming on to your 100, that was your fourth 100 for the club. But a few weeks, it should really have been your fifth 100 for the club, but of an incident a couple of weeks before.
Yes.
Over to you. I'll let you explain this to the listeners and
So,
viewers.
so this game we were playing. Is it Horndon we were playing? I
It
think.
was Horndon on
Yeah,
the Hill on
yeah. So
Sunday. Yeah.
Horndon Hill on a Sunday. We'd all been out the night before. So
Yeah.
I remember rocking up in a clubhouse, and I just lay down on the sofas at the back because I literally could not think, could not speak, and I just didn't want to play cricket. I don't even know why I said yes, and it was a
I think it was
stinking
Tommy.
hot.
I think it was Tommy Kenton's stag do. I think the night before.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
So
correct.
obviously, big night. I'm just laying there. I can't remember who else it was laying there at the time. I think there was quite a few, but I think Joe Robbins was like it as well. It was literally was bodies everywhere, I think. And it was a hot day. I think it was Dan Ingham who was captain that day.
Okay.
And we all said to him, look, bat first, bat first. It's stinking hot. We're all hung over. Comes back, oh, we're bowling first. And we all just looked at each other and went, oh, here we go. So I think they racked up a decent score in
Yeah,
the
about
end.
240.
Yeah, and then I got sent out to open. Was not best pleased about it to start with at all. I didn't want to be out there. So I stuck at it. So Hornsden opened up with Connor Hammond, which
Okay.
I hadn't seen for a few years, and I didn't realise he was bowling now. And I can remember I couldn't lay a bat on ball at all. He must have beat my edge about not more, probably 10, 15 times. So it goes on. I actually get myself in somehow and start scoring runs. We lose a few wickets. We're not really up with the rate at any point until Joe Robbins comes in. Joe comes in, scores a quick fire 20, I think it was, hit a couple of sixes, and all of a sudden we're cruising. So at this stage, I'm about 94, 95, I think, and Joe gets out, and in trots Alex Gillespie in at this point. So I think when Alex comes in, I was on 98 and I was facing. So I hit first ball over down to long off. I thought I'd beaten the man, so I started running. And so I didn't get back. So I was stuck down non-strikers. I think it was one to win. There was still another over to go. And then Gillespie decides to slog across the line and hit the ball through square leg for 4. I'm standing there. I didn't know what to laugh or shout at him. I was like, "What have you done?" And I remember Connor Hammond coming up to me going, "What has he done?" None of the oppo could believe what he'd just done.
No, I remember he did it and he raised his arms in triumph. But on the boundary, there was the likes of myself, Joe Robbins, Dan Ingham, and it was just to look at each other as if to say, "Nah, I haven't seen that, have I?" And people were like, "He has just done that, yeah."
Yeah, I just remember standing there. I didn't know what to think because at the time I felt so rough. I just wanted to get off, I think. And then when I got back into the changing room, I think Chris Mayer said something to me on the way back, and then all of a sudden it sunk in. And I was just like, why has he just done that? Why? Looking back on it, it's probably my fault. I probably should have just hit the ball out of the park and had done with it. But when you're on 99, had the day we'd gone through, in hungover, blazing hot day, and then just get stuck on 99 when I hadn't scored 100 for a couple of years, I don't think. So I thought I'm never going to score 100 again, am I? It's going to be one of those things.
At least you got a few hundreds to fall back on
Yeah,
as well. So it could be worse.
yeah, it could be worse, but that day will always stick in my mind. I think it was sticking in a lot of people's minds as well.
Yes, it is memorable. Yeah. So just come on before we finish. So you've had a few injuries, or more one major injury for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What did you do? You did your
I done my ACL playing football. So this is 2018. So just went a turn and it just went. No one around me, and just one of those things.
So you barely played 2018, 2019.
No, I didn't play 2018 because that's the year I got married, so I didn't play many games at all. I actually had the games I did play. I had a very good season. I think I was averaging nearly up. I think with you, I was averaging nearly top with you. I think that year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was in late
So
2018
obviously I had a
you got
really
injured.
late 2018 I got injured, which was a real blow. So I missed the whole of 2019.
Yeah.
To be honest, the period of time was hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard mentally. It's hard physically because you just can't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And obviously at the time, I didn't know where I was going, so I spent a lot of time in what they call prehab at Southend Hospital. And I just thought I'd never ever get back to playing anytime. So I didn't even expect to play this season. Just gone at all, because I think I got fed up with Southend in the end, and I ended up going to Brentwood to get my operation done. So I had that done in February, and I wanted to play. I was going to push myself to play, but I thought probably at that time I probably wasn't going to play at all, and that really. I thought, I had 2 years without cricket. So I had a few injuries before, and I missed a lot of cricket. I think 2016, 2017 as well, with another injury. And I just thought, it can't be happening again. It was a really, really tough period.
So really, the late start to the season helped you. The fact that you started in July in a level that was quite, for want of a better word, quite comfortable for you in the sort of lower third, fourth team level. Nice way to ease yourself back into it.
Yeah, well, it was a really nice way to ease myself back. I know it wasn't the level I should be playing at, but for me to have that kind of like a rehab while playing, because I was close enough to be nearly. When I first played that first cut, I was probably about 50% fit. But as I went on, obviously I got fitter and fitter as well, and I started feeling a lot better in myself as well.
So we come into the weekend, second weekend in August, where we're playing up at Bellis.
Yes.
And another hot day, and we're in a bit of trouble. I think we're about 50 for 4. for
Yeah,
me
we
and you
were
back,
big
get some
trouble.
runs. But personally, you get 92 that day.
Yeah.
Does that give you the confidence that I can do this? Knees are getting there now. It's
Yeah, I think it gave me a real boost saying, look, I can still play. And don't get me wrong, that day, that bowling attack wasn't really, apart from a couple of bowlers, wasn't really a fourth team attack.
no,
It
it's
was
good.
it was a really good attack that day, and they really did test us out. And I thought, you know what, I could really, at that point, I think I'm getting back to where I should be, near enough. I
Yeah,
felt good, and it was a real confidence boost because the mental side of it from them 2 to 4 was it's dark. It's a dark time, and
yeah.
just to have that, even though I didn't get 100, I got a nice score. I thought, yeah, okay, I'm back.
Did you
Maybe I'm
get
coming back
more?
to where I need to be.
Did you get more confidence batting that you could run, turn that aspect of batting rather than the fact that you're hitting runs? The actual
Yeah,
physical.
yeah. I think the running was the main thing because I think when I first come into this, I said to you, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to run.
Yeah,
I'll play it by ear, and obviously there's a couple of times where I wanted to run and didn't.
yeah.
But I think that was the first day because we didn't hit many boundaries that day.
Now
I
I'm
think if I
guessing
remember right.
also if you're struggling to run, me coming out to bat is probably not the person you want.
No, it's not definitely not. You've run me ragged enough times, so I was just like, oh no, here we go. What do I do here? But
That's
it
it. It's
kind of
not.
it kind of spurred me on to 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 test. I don't know, even test it out.
Yeah.
Just go with it because at that point, I think in that innings, I didn't really think about money a lot.
So
I
yeah,
was
you
more worried.
run. Yeah, I've been injured myself. And sort of like you say, you run, you do a turn, and you think, oh, hang on a minute, I hadn't even thought of that, and it's all right now.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's
most this injury is more once you've had the operation, it's more mental,
yeah,
breaking down the mental aspects of it because it's very hard. Rehab is very hard because obviously, especially with lockdown as well, it made it 10 times harder. It was a lot of work, and obviously, you're not doing as much exercise as you normally do outside of lockdown.
no,
So yeah, it really did. Obviously, it did help in a way batting with you
yeah.
because I just didn't think about it and I just got on with it. Because I know if I didn't run, you'd probably be in my ear roll at the end of the over saying, "Why didn't you run?"
Probably
Yeah,
captain's prerogative.
yeah,
So
yeah,
moving on from that game though, the next day, first time in a fair few years we've played two weekends
yeah.
or two games in a weekend. How did you feel going into that game? Was that, well, this could be hard. Wish I hadn't said I'd play.
Yes, I think that when I woke up that morning, I was as stiff as anything. Um, I just woke up and went, I don't want to play. There was a temptation to go, you know what, I'm going to text her out and say no. But I thought, no, you know what, I'm going to turn up and see. Because I know what Mount's like. Generally, it's not the toughest game, but I'll probably underestimated them that day a little bit. But yeah, there was the thing. Oh, I do not want to turn up. Saying it was another really hot day, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
think it was even hotter than the day
well,
before.
I'd say so. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you make runs that day.
made runs. I think what spurred me on that day was the way they handled their first innings.
Yeah,
Because I think we had a very young side. We had like Benji, Libby playing, and we were just getting tonked everywhere. And for a friendly game, I was keeping. I just thought, nah, this is not right here. Just not. Something's just not quite right. And it was a baking hot day as well. And I had a little run in with one of their batsmen as well. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to make you stay out there as well. And I think that kind of spurred me on. Again, another day where I just forgot about the problems beforehand and just batted. And they did feed me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, especially on the leg because it was quite a short leg side boundary again. But it was just another testament to me saying you can do this if you put your mind to it again and not think about what's going on in your lower half of your body.
that's good. So where would you say the body is now? 80%?
Oh, I had a setback. Obviously, I think a couple of weeks after that, I actually fell down the stairs at home
Right.
and actually jarred it and actually sprained it again. But I started jogging again. So again, I'm just working my way back up now, and obviously, again, lockdown, it's going to be difficult, but I'm just going to keep going at it, and
Okay.
hopefully, I'll be nice, fit and strong for next season once it hopefully gets up and running.
So yeah, hopefully we'll get a net sometime in the next couple of months, but who knows where we'll be. So
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. But I'm really looking after what we had this season, which was a really enjoyable season as well. I'm really looking forward to what 2021 brings for the club as well.
Great stuff. Well, Glenn, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Some great memories there, mate.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you very
definitely.
much for your time.
Yeah, yeah. Cheers, Rat.
Thank you very much.
Bye.